Okay, the purpose of our meeting today is to discuss assessments which were given to our target student, and our target student is John. He is a 14-year, 10-month-old male with a diagnosis of ADHD. He qualifies for special education services under the category of specific learning disability in the area of literacy and math. When John was just a few hours old, he stopped breathing and he was put on oxygen for 24 hours. His parents stated that he reached developmental milestones at an average rate and there were not any significant delays. He lives with both parents who both work full-time. He does not have any siblings. John has a close relationship with both of his parents. According to his mother, John is a responsible young man who helps her with chores and usually has a pleasant attitude. He has received special education services for literacy and math since he was in second grade. He does not receive any related services. He's currently being served in a resource classroom for English and math. The enrollment in his math resource class is 7 students, and the enrollment in his English resource class is 8 students. John's most recent evaluation was in April of 2021, but no new data was needed, so testing was not completed at that time. John was referred for reevaluating testing to monitor progress and to aid in the determination of eligibility for special education services. And that reevaluation testing was completed April 30th of 2018. At that time, he was administered the Reynolds Intellectual Assessment Scale Second Edition, or RIAS-2, Behavior Assessment System for Children Third Edition, BASC-3, and the Woodcock-Johnson Test of Achievement, 4th edition, WJIB. John's chronological age at the time of his reevaluation testing was 11 years. During the reevaluation testing, John was distracted as well as impulsive, but he was very sweet, he worked hard, and wanted to please. The first assessment is the Reynolds Intellectual Assessment Scale Second Edition, or the RIAS-2, and is an individually administered general intelligence test that is used to provide a comprehensive and cost-effective assessment of intelligence and memory. It measures verbal and nonverbal intelligence of individuals ages 3 to 94. His verbal index score was 91, his nonverbal index score was 87, and his composite index score was 88. Scores that fall between 90 and 109 would be considered to be within the average range. As you can see, John's score on the IQ assessment is just below average compared to a sample of same-age peers. Does that sound, just based on the information that you saw, does that sound accurate?
Yes. What grade is he? I don't know if I missed that or.
He is a 9th grader. He's a 9th grade student, yes. The next test that John was given was the Woodcock-Johnson Test of Achievement, 4th edition, or WJIB. And this is an individual evaluation of academic achievement, and it is appropriate to be used with individuals ages 2 to 90. In John's case, it was used to obtain measures of academic progress in the basic subject areas. The WJIB measured John's achievement in the following areas: letter word ID, reading fluency, calculation, math fluency, passage comprehension, applied problems, and writing samples. His scores were as follows: letter word ID 80 with a grade equivalent of first grade, fifth month. Reading fluency 73 with a grade equivalent of below kindergarten. Calculation 99 with a grade equivalent of second grade, 6th month. Math fluency 93 with a grade equivalent of second grade, 3rd month. Passage comprehension 81 with a grade equivalent of first grade, 5th month. Applied problems 86 with a grade equivalent of first grade, 7th month. And writing samples 99 with a grade equivalent of second grade, 5th month. Scores that fall between 80 and 119 are considered to be within the average range. While most of John's scores were within the average range, his grade equivalent range was kindergarten to 2nd grade. Since John was in 5th grade at the time of testing, his scores indicate he was 2 to 5 years behind grade level in the basic subject areas. Based on his achievement scores, John has significant delays in the areas of word recognition, reading fluency, reading comprehension, writing, math calculation, math fluency, and solving word problems. His strengths are writing familiar words or sentences in cursive with careful spacing, letter formation, alignment, and regard to margins, using correct syntax with verb-noun agreement in sentences, and adding and subtracting within 20 using mental strategies. So does that sound, when you
Yes.
looked over that, does that sound accurate? Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
The next assessment was Behavior Assessment System for Children, 3rd edition, BASC 3. The BASC 3 is a comprehensive set of rating scales and forms completed by teachers and parents for the purpose of evaluating and informing understanding of the behavior and emotions of children and young adults. It is used with individuals ages 2 to 25. His behavior assessment suggests he does not have a significant problem adjusting to different environments. These are all of the assessments which were completed as part of John's most recent reevaluation testing, and there were no other assessments in his special education folder. The last assessment is the informal assessment that I actually gave him. I recently gave John an informal reading assessment to assess his fluency and comprehension. The assessment consisted of a 7th grade reading passage titled Brown-Throated Sloths by Courtney Keimer. The passage consists of a total of 301 words. I gave John a copy of the passage and I kept a copy to use for scoring. When he began reading, I started a timer. As he read the passage, I followed along on my sheet and marked the words he pronounced incorrectly, did not attempt to pronounce, or took longer than 3 seconds to pronounce. It took John 3 minutes, 3 seconds to read the passage, which averaged out to about 100 words per minute. A 9th grader should be able to read 200 plus words per minute with fluency and comprehension. He mispronounced 3 words. He skipped over 1 complete line in the passage without noticing. After he read the passage, I asked him 4 questions. The answers to the questions were directly stated in the passage. He correctly answered 2 of the 4 questions. During testing, John was fidgety. He read the passage just as I asked him to, but he seemed very uncomfortable and lacked confidence. One strength is that he used context clues in the sentence to figure out words he didn't know. This was clear because he corrected the word camouflages after he read the entire sentence. The green algae actually camouflages the sloths while they're hanging in the trees, nourishes sloths, and provide nutrients for them. Weaknesses include using word structure to decode unfamiliar words and literal comprehension. This assessment was effective in allowing me to determine whether or not John is able to read fluently and comprehend what he reads. If I administered the informal reading assessment to John again, I would either allow him to read it silently instead of reading it out loud, or I would read the passage to him to see if that affected the results. The results of the informal assessment I gave John mimic the results of the assessments in his file and indicate the same weaknesses.
Yes.
So it basically, confirmed what was in his folder already. So do you have any questions or do you need to add anything?
No, everything sounded really good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So I'm going to stop recording.